Well, drastic situations warrant drastic remedies. You see, corruption in Nigeria is so pervasive that the government in power that is against corruption should demonstrate a resolve, a commitment. If special courts are necessary, so be it. We've had experience in this country when courts, certain judges were earmarked to try corruption cases. I think that is what the government wanted to do, to say, look, instead of clogging the judicial system with too many judges, let us identify judges, quote unquote, incorruptible ones amongst them that can now face the fire of corrupt practices. Because as I said, it was this government too that popularized the saying that corruption can fight back. So if corruption can fight back, and it's a serious problem for us, then we have to create special mechanism. I don't know what is so outrageous. We are not living under Stalin, I agree. But in 2018, the level of corruption is odious.
Dr. Ezekwesili.
So let's not reduce the comprehensive anti-corruption strategy that we must have as a country to just the work of the EFCC. The work of the EFCC is important. We must encourage the EFCC to credibly continue to prosecute cases, have the right kind of lawyers on their teams. They must be given the resources they need in order to do this effectively. But the society must now begin to call out the legal profession as well as the judiciary. That's one. Then the second thing is that if we reduced opportunities for corruption, we would reduce the workload of the EFCC as well as the courts. Because research has shown that where you reduce opportunity for people to engage in corruption, you have less corruption. And in order to reduce the opportunities for corruption, you must do some fundamental structural type reforms. So for example, what I was saying that the government needs to do in the petroleum sector, I am really puzzled as to what's going on with the subsidy regime. The NNPC is currently calling it under cost recovery. I don't even know what that term means. Then I am also interested in what is going on with the exchange policy, because when you look at those structural issues, they matter. The exchange policy is giving us multiple exchange rates. There are people in this country who became billionaires as a result of that bad FX policy that the government has abandoned only to the extent of maybe 65%. Right. We need to do better in preventing opportunities for corruption.
Let's allow you to weigh in on these. Your thoughts basically on...
I feel like our value system as a country is completely crumbled. A value system where people steal our money and receive chieftaincy titles. A value system where people, commit humongous crimes against humanity. A value system, a country where 36 million naira is stolen in JAMB office and the woman confidently comes out to say that it's a snake that stole the money. She definitely knows that nothing will happen, after, such thing happens. Now, you see, I think that our government has mastered the art of understanding that the ordinary people would simply just go to social media and talk about it. And I feel like Nigerians have to share part of this blame, because I don't think that we're active citizens enough that understand the power, that the power in the people is greater than the people in power. Therefore, we can demand a certain level of mandatory accountability from the people that we elect into office. I say that because when you have citizens who simply... Corruption is so great in Nigeria because the minister's salary is not able to pay for the kind of things that the people in his community are demanding from him. Because when somebody becomes governor, he immediately begins to receive letters from every church and every mosque, and everybody wants to pay school fees and all of that. So the pressure on the people that get into public office is so much, and it's because of the petty levels of corruption at different levels. Now, when you even talk, when you look at the law enforcement agents and take it to another level, like the policemen, the soldiers, the reward packages are so poor. When you talk about people like SARS and all of those people, and you see the kind of activism that is going on amongst young people against institutions of, law enforcement institutions like SARS and all, you begin to query the reward packages of the people that are supposed to be protecting Nigerians, while people that do not do much work are the ones who earn money for work that they didn't do.
Seriously,
Now, you even take
something.
it forward and forget that corruption is even beyond stealing money, direct stealing. You think about the corruption of non-performance in office that you consistently reward people who do not work while they are in office, and they are earning fat salaries on government. You're not doing performance reviews of people who work in public service.
If I may, you're saying we're not active enough. How much active do we need to be, Professor Dinkalu, Dr. Ezekwesili? Is activism helping us?
I need to ask one question. Really, I can't help myself. If we are saying that some judges are so incorruptible they have to try corruption cases, that means some judges are so corrupt we cannot trust them with corruption cases. What are they doing on the bench?
Exactly.
Can somebody please answer that question?
What kind of
Why would you
reform?
retain a judge on the bench who cannot be trusted to try a corruption case? Fire the person and try the person.
Completely.
That is my question. And that is my problem with this idea of special courts. And that is already happening. I know that judges have been taken from some parts. They are said to be incorruptible and they've been brought to Abuja. I've spoken with agents in the security services about this. And this is the question. Secondly, my brother Wilson is not giving us the full facts. Yes, the file from the Vice President's investigation has in fact gone to the EFCC. It is also the fact that the Chief of Staff to the President, and I want to go on record here and say this, has issued an instruction that the heads of security agencies, including Mr. Oke, cannot go before the EFCC, that they need to be gone after with a special investigation panel. This is not in the public domain, and that is why the EFCC cannot go after Mr. Oke.
Is that the reason, truly, Mr. Walger? Mr. Walger,
Well, maybe I don't have that.
I hope that you can hear us now. Mr. Walger.
But as far as I know, there is no instruction from the presidency in whatever form to the EFCC not to move against Rachel Lauer.
I believe that our society is yet to understand that there is a demand side and a supply side to good governance.
Completely.
And what we're doing is that we're allowing the supply side to run riot right in front of us, while the demand side is dormant, lethargic, totally indifferent. Part of what must happen is that a coalition of forces would need to rise from among civil society and say, thus far has this corruption menace gone, it should not go further. And there must be much more in-depth analytics that drive the various prongs of measures that we must take.
I guess there is one part of this conversation that I think we should touch on before we conclude the conversation. It was one of the things that Professor Atahiru Jega, the former INEC chairman, touched on when he was speaking at the Democracy Day lecture about what he called bribery and corruption within the legislature. What are your thoughts about it, Toyosi?
You see, I think 2019 presents a chance, a golden chance to Nigerians, to the educated Nigerians, to empower the uneducated Nigerians with knowledge and information. Because the truth is that the people in this room don't really matter much in determining the outcomes of the kind of people that go on to represent us in the legislature. The people that are the ordinary Nigerians, the masses who are poor and deprived, who are the ones that have become tools and pawns in the hands of politicians, who leverage and take advantage of their lack, are the ones that we should be empowering. I say that because the quality of people that are elected into the legislature is so crucial that you need to be able to, you need to understand their significance and how much effect and impact they have on the executive and the judiciary.
So we have Abuja now, Mr. Wajar, and I want you to quickly react to what Professor Dinkalu said about the issues relating to Mr. Oke. What can you tell us about that? You heard him.